Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. For those naive people who really believe everything their government tells them, the guys who they elected and some of them were appointed by your elected officials, this is an article that I'm going to use that maybe will hit you hard in the head and make you think, okay, and get out of your little thing over there. So what's going on? These guys in Ukraine, which is the Russians and NATO, and the Ukrainians in the middle, they will apply everything, every method that has been applied before in order to win. Legal under the Geneva Convention, right? Or illegal. They did it before, they are doing it right now, and they will do it again. Why? Because that's the way we are. Now, people who think, no, we don't commit war crimes. Okay. Why don't you pick some books? Oh, no, we don't lie. Why don't you pick some books? The information is there. If you don't know what the book is, get your freaking phone or iPad or laptop and just click. Look at a few examples. One of them is atomic bombs droppings. Those were what I said. And then if you want to lying, look at, for instance, the Gulf of Tonkin example in Vietnam. Clear. 2 examples. All right. This is just too easy. This is low-hanging fruits for you. Now, what do we have here? Yes, there are mercenaries over there in Ukraine. Yes, I think we'll find out clearly there are NATO troops involved in Ukraine. That's what I think. Based on my, let's say, imbecility or my gut feelings, okay? I have no evidence whatsoever. I heard stuff. People write about these kind of things. Now we find out that some French mercenaries were not really mercenaries. Some French NGO workers, they were not really NGO workers. They were something else. Remember, the Americans keep sending, and not only the Americans, but the Americans are the notorious ones, I would say. They say military advisors. Remember, they sent in Vietnam military advisors, and in the war in Korea, military advisors, non-combative or combatant. They were not fighting. They're just advisors. They were actively fighting. The same they had in Georgia when Georgia attacked South Ossetia and they got smacked by the Russians, by Putin himself, just like this. Ping. All right? Those guys were over there. Now, the same here. No, the NGOs, you see, oh, that NGO, the Putin law, Russia law against the innocent NGOs. Well, there are some NGOs, some volunteer workers in Ukraine that were, I will show you. Let's look at this article. Here is Sputnik, and it is from 12 hours ago. At least 75 French mercenaries fought for Ukraine. Well, no surprise here. I don't know about you, but for me, there's no surprise whatsoever. And you say, well, okay, what's the big deal? Well, that's not why I picked this article. I picked it at the second statement of this guy. Now, this guy was an ex-Intel officer. You can say, well, he's lying. Could be lying, but, if the planets are aligned, I can see that. So at least 75 French mercenaries in Ukraine have been killed, wounded, or have returned to France since the start of Russia's special military operation. Nicolas Cinquini, a former French counterterrorism intelligence officer, told Sputnik. Could he lie? Yeah, he could, like everybody else. Now, this is what he said. I'm citing. Including those killed, wounded, and those who have returned, the list I have published as of today includes 75 individuals who have been identified accurately or under pseudonyms, which can already tell us a lot. So, I don't know, instead of Emil, you say big fucker or something. Anyway, he said that a list also includes 2 men whom the French authorities called volunteers. And I'm quoting, second right here. The government presented them as, the French government, humanitarian workers, employees of a Swiss NGO. But I'm convinced, he said, that they were government agents. Well, I would like evidence as you. Their existence was revealed to us with their death on February 1st. The former intelligence officer says. He said that he also has information about other mercenaries who participated in hostilities on the side of Kiev. The rest have just been discovered and there is not yet enough information about them to publish. At the same time, the French Foreign Ministry, despite the publication in the French media of information about French nationals killed in Ukraine, has denied the presence of French mercenaries in the ranks of the armed forces of Ukraine, accusing Russia of disinformation. Now they have here, they say how many people were killed, you believe it or not. It says the ministry named Poland the leader in terms of the number of killed. Okay, so this is the rest of the article. My point is this. Yes, they are under pseudonym. Yes, they are under, I'm an NGO employee and I'm a covert operation officer or whatever, part of a troop, soldier. It's just for those guys who really think that Geneva Convention is, is not even a guidance. It's something to smack the small people in the head, right? So let's say you have Yugoslavia or Serbia fighting NATO, or NATO bombarding and attacking Serbia. They will look at Serbia as being, Geneva Convention, but these guys on the same time, they're going to bombard bridges, they will bombard water facilities, treatment plants, and they call them military facilities, military targets. That's exactly what a NATO general said. They were legitimate. Why? Because the military, after all, benefits out of them. Well, like that, you can hit civilians then? Because the military benefits from the civilians' work. Who prepares the food? The civilians. Who makes them clothes and military and weapons? The civilians. Who bottles the water that they want to give the military? The civilians. So that means what are you going to do? You see, we can do it, they can't do it. The same with Russia. I'm not here to justify anybody's garbage. I'm here just to point out that this is between what they say and what it is a big difference. A big difference. And those NGOs, it's Putin law. Putin said this about the NGOs. When the NGOs are funded by, let's say, the US government in Russia, why do you think they're over there? To promote us. And they engage in all kind of activities against the government. What are you supposed to do? It's a different government working inside our country to these NGOs. So I said, no, all you need to do is just reveal your sources. If you, sources of finance, that's all what it says. If you receive 20%, at least 20% of your income, your funding from outside, working in my country, I want you to disclose who are your sources. You don't want that? Why not? It's none of your business. Really? Well, that's my national security. Fuck off. Oh no, that works only here in the free world. Over there, that's called tyranny. That's basically the Russian NGO, anti-NGO rule law in Russia, which the Americans instituted in 1936, if I remember, 1936. I wonder why. You see, these guys are way ahead of everybody else in many hanky-panky stuff, but they dare to call, you can't have a nuclear weapon, you can't have a nuclear weapon, no, we're gonna check your ass, no, we're gonna check your palace, Saddam, why? Because you're evil, and we're good. But hey, who used the atomic bombs in the world? Let's talk about something else. You're bad, yeah, let's change the subject. But somehow the rapist is the guy who judges, everybody else for the possibility. He was never charged or convicted. No. He did it. We all know. But hey, he somehow is in charge. Tell us what we can do. And hey, you're thinking about doing it. Don't do it. I'm the guy. I'm dispensing justice here. And if you're there, I'm going to slap you with some sanctions, a little bit of uprising, spontaneous uprising, regime change, bombardment, and takeover. So don't even try. And then you have the Russians, you have the Chinese, you have the Indians trying to give you an alternative. Better than this one? Well, so far it seems like. Why? Because your bar is so low that it's really very hard not to go up, to be better. All right, my friends, here it is. French mercenaries, 100%. I do not know why these guys in France deny that. And if it's a law, they can change that in a second. Macron can sign it as he signed what was that, the pension reform. Remember, he snatched it from the parliament, from the French parliament, and said, fuck it, there it is, done. It was all legal. It was legal. Was it abusive? I would say yes. He didn't allow the elected representatives of the French nation, who would have voted for, I'm pretty sure, even though 80%, according to opinion polls, 80% of the French nation was against that. Mr. Macron said, fuck you all. What they're gonna do? Work within the system, vote me out. Oh, I can't run again. The same thing with the weapons now. They send weapons wherever they want. Do something, work within the system. Okay, vote me out. Who are you gonna vote in? Another weasel like this one. Because it's gonna do the same thing. This is what something is wrong with democracy. You vote for someone that's gonna have a mandate for 4 years, and they can do whatever hanky-panky they want. And how do they get over there? Finance. Nobody does it for free. Nobody does it for free. And then if you want to know who was on whose payroll after they leave office, elected officials, they are appointed as CEO, some are board of directors over there, and after a while they're going to be hired again. Like for instance, Lloyd Austin, the defense minister of the United States of America, he was what? On the board of directors of Raytheon, military contractor. Doesn't he like war? Psst, shit, he likes. Right? So he was a general after general. He got the job as a general, as an advisor in a board. He was in the board of directors, and then he was taken and appointed as and obviously anointed by our Congress. Those guys. A-OK, man. That's the way the system works here. So I don't understand what the French are saying. Well, there's no French people over there, no mercenaries. After all, what the hell? Oh, it's the law. I told you what Macron did with the law. He can just fuck it up in a second if he wants. But because the constitution of that democratic country allows. Spare me. Thank you very much for being with me again today. They are over there under different terms. Peacekeeping force, volunteers, NGO bringing food for children and water and clothes and all that. All right. And when you hear them, five, how they call it, volunteers were killed by the Russians and so on. And the Russians say, no, it was no, it was just volunteers. Some of them probably were, but some of them probably weren't. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.